All right, guys. People are still joining in, but I don't want to make you wait. So hopefully they will miss just the introduction and the housekeeping, which is pretty boring. So let's say we're going to start. So thank you very much for joining this webinar today. This is our monthly series at Cloves Inc. I am Julia. I'm the marketing manager for Cloves, and I really hope this webinar is going to be super interesting for you guys. So we are going to have this agenda today. So I'm just going to have a little bit of housekeeping for you, since this GoToWebinar might not be familiar to all of you. I'm just going to introduce Cloves a little bit for those who don't know us. And then I'm going to pass the ball to my two presenters today, because we're going to have a joint webinar. We're going to have Abdullah from Palo Alto Network and Alex from Cloves. They're going to talk about the service portal that Cloves implemented for Palo Alto Network. At the very end, we're going to have Q&A. However, if there are relevant questions to what the speakers are saying, they are going to filter it, so they might answer a question throughout the presentation. So don't hesitate to ask question or type question, because you can't speak throughout the presentation, okay? So, housekeeping. We are recording this webinar, so don't worry if you have to leave earlier because you have other meetings to attend. Please go, and we're going to send you the recording at the end of the webinar. Q&A process, as I said before, you're muted, so don't try to talk because we can't hear you. You have a section, chat or question. I rather recommend you to use questions, so they're gonna be saved, and I can also type to you if the questions are faster or easier, or they don't require a lot of conversations. For any other information, requests, compliments, if you like what you're talking about, please send me an email at giulia@clovesinc.com or at sales@clovesinc.com. We're going to get back to you as soon as we can. Social media, please like us on Facebook, follow us on LinkedIn. We have a lot of updates and new webinar coming over there. So please be part of the community that Cloves has, so you are up to date with all the activities that we do. Lastly, I want to invite you to go to our website. We are revamping the website currently, so please keep an eye on that. The App Store, that is going to be the portfolio of Cloves Inc. It's going to be amazing. There's going to be a lot of portals, a lot of work we've done with other customers, so please keep an eye on that. Any questions? That's the time you can start typing if you have. If not, I'm going to keep moving, talking about Cloves. So for those who don't know us, we are a ServiceNow partner since 2011. We're based in Santa Clara, California, very close to the ServiceNow headquarters. And we are a full ServiceNow shop, meaning we can implement, we have done work in every single aspect that ServiceNow has and offer. In 6 years, we have reached the 150 customers milestone, which is great. I'm sure there's some of you in here, so thank you for being our customers. And we grew up to 45 consultants right now, all over the world, mostly in the US, but all over the world. That means that we can execute projects globally. So these are the services that we mainly offer, but 2017 focus is customer service management, end user portals, which means service portal, that is the topic of today, and HR. These are like the hot topic that also ServiceNow is pushing a lot this year. So if you don't have one of them, please keep an eye on this. All right, so if you don't have any questions, I'm just going to give the ball to my amazing presenters to talk about Service Portal on ServiceNow, and specifically the case of Palo Alto Network. So Abdullah, I am going to make you the presenter right now. And the stage is all yours.
All right. Thank you, Julia. Hey, guys. Like Julia said, my name is Abdullah Tofana. I work as a senior ServiceNow developer at Palo Alto Network. So I'm showing right now. So basically, I'm gonna talk about basically where we came from our old portal in CMS and some of the challenges we had with the CMS, and then with Clove, with Clove help, we are able to figure out all those challenges and move to the new service portal. So right now, what you guys see in my screen is our old portal. Like I said, was done in CMS, and this was done by Clove as well. And so this is the landing page for all the portal that we build in ServiceNow for our different departments. We have IT, payroll, workplace resources, sales enablement, and GCS, which stands for our global customer support lab. Okay, I'm gonna go to IT. So as you can see, I think this was built probably almost 2 years ago. At that time, this was great. This was a big bang for in our company. Like I said, this was done by Close as well. So that time was great. We try to keep it simple as we can, and when user go in there, it's pretty much easy to use. You can go to a report issue to create an incident, and we have that. But what was missing here is we didn't have the search capabilities. We didn't have any type of search for our incident categorization or our service catalog. The only search available was pretty much you can search for your ticket that you have open, and so this was a custom stuff that we created. A user can search for any ticket that they have created in the past, and also a little bit of search on the knowledge. So, but this was not working for us. It was not working for us. It was not working. Right now, things change. We progress. So we want something better, something simple, and something catchy that our end user will appreciate. And some of the challenges here also is we have different look and feel for each department. I'll show you IT. Like if you go to payroll, so it's a different UI, right? So that can confuse the our end user a little bit, because every time they come to the main portal, they go to IT, they go to payroll or facilities, they see different look and feel. So it's hard to get accustomed to it. So we said when ServiceNow came out for the service portal, and so we decided to bring on Close again to talk about requirements, and came out with let me go and our service. Let me go to the what is the front page. So this is the new portal. So it's loading. Yeah. So this is the new portal that Clove really came through for us and delivered this in with everything we wanted. So some of the challenging was we knew that CMS was not working for us, so we want to pretty much build something that's responsive, like more responsive. You can our end user can run this in a desktop, or can run it in the tablet, and they can run it in the phone, mobile device, any mobile device basically. So pretty much I can show you how responsive it is. See how you can see this is like a tablet format, and then you go to a phone format. So like iPhone or so this is pretty cool. So this was our number one requirement. And also second big thing was we wanted a search, global search. So we know with Service Portal, ServiceNow came out with a search, but that search was good, but it was not good enough for us. It was limited. In terms of a limitation, like for example, we want to end user to search on our categorization. We have 3 levels of categorization in incident. We have a type, category, and subcategory. So we didn't want end user to go and start figuring out, go to a new incident and figure out what category should I choose, what combination of categories should I choose, so the ticket can be assigned to the right group. So we want to have the search find all the stuff. And one of the global search is this global search from the landing page. This is our landing page. So we'll search across all its department or knowledge base, right? So we're gonna do some tests right here. So let's say type password, right? So now we have knowledge. We divide this drop down into 3 sections. Knowledge, you can find any knowledge document about password and password request, and also we have get help, which is pretty much incident that we can select. Like for example, I want to click this on that specific field, so it will auto categorize for me based on the search what I pick. So user don't have to come to create new incident and find the category, and they can find it from the search. And once they click on it, it will populate a category field. So this is 2 to 3 level categorization. Sometimes 2, sometimes 3. Okay. And also, so what Close was able to do for us was basically, we said one word search is not enough for us. We want to have this Google type of search. Like for example, I want to reset my password, right? So I type a sentence, I want to reset my password, so you'll find password stuff too. So this is in dev instance, so we have some garbage stuff, so don't worry about some of this stuff if it's not clean. So because I have password in my sentence that I type, the search was able to find, there's some knowledge document about that, and also the categorization, the different categorization related to password in incident. Okay, so that was this was a big deal. This was great. So, and that's something that ServiceNow doesn't provide in the current search capability. So basically, that the search widget of ServiceNow was extended pretty much by Close. So, example of a global search, like for example, Palo have a knowledge document on direct deposit, right? So I'm gonna type direct deposit, right? I'm on the landing page, but I still was able to find document related to direct deposit, which reside on the Palo knowledge article. Right? Okay, so our idea was we want, as soon as the end user get to the landing page, they can search for anything. They don't have to go to a specific organization portal to find the stuff. Right? We want to make it so easy for them. And also, we want to be in line with our Palo Alto network branding. So all this coloring and stuff match our branding. We have all different color that we use for our logo, and so all these things match. So we want to be pretty much. So that was the same as with our external portal, external intranet, internet, and internal intranet. So, okay. So I'm going to go right now to IT services. So this is the IT portal. Okay. So the challenge was every organization portal was different, but in the new service portal, it's the same look and feel. You have the same search. Pretty much, you have workplace resources. It's the same type of look and feel. Okay. So sales enablement, they just have a request, so we don't have a portal. So going back to IT. So IT, just make it so simple. Get help to allow the end user to create an incident, basically anything that's broken. And for any type of request, let me go to get help and show you what we did. So as you can see right here, we don't have categorization here. If you don't use a search, if you go to report an issue, we don't show you categorization because we want to keep it simple. Because from the study we have done, the categorization, it's pretty much based on IT terms. So we don't want to confuse the end user with IT terminology in categorization, right? So that's why we don't want to show it here. But in the search, something I forgot to mention, in the search, like all those categorization are tied to metadata. So they can type some metadata even if it is not the exact categorization value. Because of the metadata, we can translate it to pick up the right categories. Okay. So going back, so that was the reported issue. Request something. So we have three different buckets right here for hardware, software, and services. And so the search, and the search work everywhere. From every section you go, it's the same search. And I'm gonna do. I want a keyboard. Okay. So I want a keyboard, so we can see. Need something, we pick up some PC keyboard with different option of keyboard that we provide for end user. User can go ahead and submit it right from here. And go back to my search. I want a keyboard. We have incident, get help too. So this is some categorization we have for keyboard. And again, when you select it, you will go to the incident, and now it will show the categories. It's pre-populated. Okay. Okay. Now, what else we have done is, so we want to show if end user come to anywhere, right, from the landing page or IT page, they have this 3 section as well. So my stuff will show you pretty much all the tickets I have created under any department. Like we have some workplace resources ticket here, we have some incident, and we have different type of tickets for different organizations. So this will show you, I think, the first probably 10. If you want to see everything, you scroll down to the bottom, view all requests, and you click on it. It will take you to another page that will show you your open stuff, your open ticket, and your closed. You can switch back and forth. And then we have some nice count in front of each ticket type, right? Payroll cases, all that stuff. IT. So this is my IT open ticket right now. So I can open it. and go to this nice UI here, where something that we have done here as well is if you like browsing different type of FAQ, you can just go to FAQ and do your browse and browse different type of knowledge document. Okay. All right. Next. So here, this show you. So we did some LDAP integration of user picture. Our pictures are in LDAP, so we'll pulling that from AD to ServiceNow as well. That's what you guys can see my picture here. And then here is where you can go to your profile. And from your profile, we pull some attribute from AD, like department location, and we can. So we're working on some orchestration to be able to write back to AD with your picture. Like for example, if you don't like your picture in AD, you want to change it to a better picture, you can upload a picture and then we'll push it to AD. So that's in progress right now. So in your profile page, so we show also your email, your business phone, and your mobile phone, and also the asset, all the different assets that's assigned to you. As you can see here, we show that I have 3 assets. I can select if I wanna see. Oops. If I wanna see the asset, I can just click on it. It will take me to the asset page with more information about the expiration date and stuff like that. Okay. All right. Go back to profile again. Okay. So also what we are working on as of right now, we talk about picture right back to AD. We also have some orchestration stuff that where we allow end user to change the business phone number and mobile phone as well. So that work also in progress. I think we're gonna go live with that next week. The user can come here and change the mobile phone number, and by just the business phone number, by just clicking on it, and they can put any number here, and then once we push it, it will go to we have an orchestration workflow that will take over and update AD, and then we do an AD pull, LDAP pull from AD like every twice a day, and that will right back to ServiceNow with a new phone number. Okay, I think I pretty much covered everything. So I'm gonna pass it to Alex. Unless, I think I see. Hello, nobody can hear me?
Yeah, we can. Sorry, I'm gonna give it to Alex, the control.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so
Okay.
much, Abdullah. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia. Bye.
Alex? All
Hello.
right.
Hey, thank you, Abdullah, for giving that demo of the portal. You covered a lot of important points there that I kind of wanted to discuss a little bit more in detail, so that people can get a feel for how we went about tackling these kinds of problems and how we went about implementing them. Let me quickly refresh my page here. So as Abdullah mentioned, one of the biggest features that we really wanted to accomplish in this portal was the development of a search widget that was really functional and allowed users to quickly find what they were looking for. So one of the features that was expressed to us from the beginning as essential was the need for kind of natural language processing in the search. So what we did, to get that to happen here, is we actually kind of built an algorithm that understands what's going into the search box, and can learn to recognize keywords like password and reset, and throw out words that are less important, like I need my, because for the user who's typing, it's important, it's in the context of them and what they need, but for the purposes of retrieving the data that they need, it's not really essential. So that was a bit of a challenge, and it was slightly more difficult for those following along at home than just adding meta tags to the catalog items and the knowledge articles. We definitely started there, but we ended up having to basically build an index of commonly used search phrases and things like that, and kind of leverage that to present the information that's needed. Another thing that I think kind of merits talking about is when you do a search for, say, I need Adobe Creative Suite or something, we actually bring in the images. So it makes it really easy for people to find what they're looking for. Especially with Adobe products in particular, you get really used to those icons and you know what you're trying to find. So being able to just quickly at a glance see, oh yeah, Illustrator, that's what I need, and click on that and then just submit a request for it and be done is really nice. And one of our goals going into this was to say, look, if we didn't have any of these navigational elements down here at the bottom, would this still be a functional portal? And so when we were evaluating and developing our search functionality, that was kind of our guiding principle. Is it good enough to stand on its own? And I'm proud to say in this case, I really think it is, and it makes it a lot easier for users. The other thing as well, and this is great, an advancement with Service Portal, is that even this is responsive, and this will work on a mobile browser. There's a lot of JavaScript and things like that going on here, but it still shows up and it'll work just fine on an iPhone. When we were looking at the original CMS portal that we built for Palo Alto a few years back, at the time, it leveraged all the technology that ServiceNow had to be as effective as it could be. But another kind of item that came up was just the importance of being able to submit incidents on the go. You're running from one meeting to another and you need help with something, or maybe there's an issue with your computer and you just would be easier to submit the ticket on your phone, things like that. So the great news is that a lot of the functionality for making things mobile ready are just kind of included in the technology that you need to use to build Service Portal. So assuming that you have a design that will accommodate a mobile and a widescreen layout, the coding, kind of using the techniques that you already know, will be adapted to mobile quite nicely. For the My Stuff page here, this was another one of kind of a central repository to view all of your things where you can sort through them very easily. The original CMS portal had the opportunity to look and see what you had open, but it was all stuck within this little menu. And so here we really wanted to break it out and make it easy for people to see. If I submitted a workplace resource request, then I want to be able to see that, and I can filter out all the other stuff that's not relevant to me at that time. Another one that I really like is the My Approvals widget. It makes it very easy to quickly look at something you need to approve. You can approve and reject right from this screen here without having to drill in. But if you do need to drill into it and see what's going on, there's more information here. You can ask questions back and forth with the person requesting approval, and then ultimately you can approve and reject it right here from the side. There's a few other things as well. In IT services, if we drill into the request something area here, under software, most of these are pretty standard catalog items. You can see the Adobe products there. But if I need help with Okta, for example, really it's 90% of the time from the metrics that Palo Alto had, is people just needed a redirect link to the Okta page. So if I click on that, it just takes me to the Okta page. I'm not on site with them, so it's IP restricted and I can't get through, but it just redirects people out of the portal and takes them where they need to go. And so kind of stepping back and away from the technical elements of the portal, I did kind of want to talk about the project management phase and the kind of design phase of it, and some of the things that were crucial in allowing us to be successful in this project. So the first is that we started with a design. We didn't start building things. We didn't start by looking at the stock portal and saying, oh, how can this help us? We went to Palo Alto, and we have an amazing designer on our team, Mike Fernandez. I'm not sure if he's in the call right now. But we basically sat down with Palo Alto to try to understand what their needs were. And that's how we kind of learned about these things like the search functionality, the need for a consistent look and feel across areas of support, and other things like that. And from there, we worked up a design, and we really, went back and forth. We tweaked the design. We involved key stakeholders really early in the process, everyone from end users to senior staff to, people who are facilitating the support requests and fulfilling them on the back end, to really make sure it was something that everybody could get behind, and to get people really excited for the project and to see how it was going to turn out. So that allowed us, before we wrote a single line of code, we kind of knew what the portal was going to look like. We knew what it needed to do. And it was much easier then to just start writing code because we'd handled most of these problems about usability ahead of time, and we didn't need to deal with substantial reworks after the development had started. So a lot of times when we sit down with a new customer, we hear that they want it to be as close to out of the box as possible, and that what kind of design as we go. And those are two things I would recommend that you avoid if you're trying to tackle a service portal project, because it just increases the potential for scope creep and having to redo development work after the fact because you change your direction, which is a totally reasonable thing to do as you're building something out. So really taking the time to narrow down what it is you want before you go ahead and build it is really key. Another thing as well is when you talk about out of the box, that can kind of go two ways. One is the kind of out of the box look and feel of Service Portal. ServiceNow has their own Service Portal theme that they use, and it's installed by default on most instances. And so that's what a lot of times people talk about with standard look and feel. But there's also the functionality element to that too. And so once you start, even if you keep the look and feel from a CSS perspective, completely the same, once you start having to build out widgets to do what you need them to do, the My Profile page is a great example. Oftentimes when you meet with a new customer, they're kind of like, what is this for? It tells me what I already know. And so we actually added these options here, through ServiceNow orchestration to go ahead and update your phone number, update your image, and view your assets to make the page kind of more useful. But all of that is custom development work. And even if you skin it to look just like the ServiceNow Service Portal, you're still doing custom work there. So it's just something that you want to be aware of, that functionality is ultimately what's going to drive the development costs of a project like this, not so much the CSS skin for it. But along those lines, the CSS skin is something that's relatively easy to accomplish, and it can change easily over time. So if Palo Alto Networks comes back to us in a few years and says, hey, this is starting to look a little dated, maybe there's some new trends in web design that we'd really like to capture in this portal, we can keep a lot of the underlying functionality and just kind of update the look and feel and the skin of the portal to feel more current, with really, really reduced development costs, because you're only looking at the front end portion of it. So that's something that's really nice about Service Portal, is it has a lot of staying power. You can define the functionality that you want early on. You can augment it later if you need to. But if you just need to do something as simple as change the way it looks, that can be accomplished at a later time pretty easily. So at that point, I'd love to answer any questions that people have. If anyone wants me to do a deeper dive into a specific widget or how we accomplish something, or if anyone's trying to plan a Service Portal project and is just looking for advice on how to proceed, I'd be really interested in helping out with that.
Okay, thank you, Alex. I think Abdullah wants to add something. Abdullah, you can go ahead if you want to. Otherwise, I will start reading the question because we have a lot. So
Yeah, so basically, I just want to add that, Close really did a very good job for us in the scoping of the requirement because we didn't really know what we want. We have some idea of we want search, right? We want global search, we want mobile response, but we didn't know what type of look and feel. So we were able to bring Close in and talk about our requirement, and really came through with different examples through the wire, with a different wireframe and show us, and we are able to pick, okay, this worked well for us. So I just want to illustrate that out. So I did a great job on that requirement scoping.
thank you.
Yeah, just to tag on to that, sorry, Julia. Yeah, it really comes down to just having a great designer on your team. Again, I can't stress how important and helpful it was to work with our amazing design team here at Cloves to really help, turn out mock-ups really quickly and kind of do a little bit of A/B testing. Like, do you like this? Do you like that? Do you like some of this and some of that? And put it together. There was also one other thing I wanted to touch on during my part of the presentation that I left out, and that is kind of customization in general. Generally, customization is kind of a dirty word in the ServiceNow community, right? Because, oh no, I customize this, and if I upgrade it in the future, it's going to break. But the lovely thing about Service Portal and why I really enjoy working on it is because it's meant to be customized. It's meant to be dynamic and adapted to what it is that you want to accomplish. And when ServiceNow built out the portal, they did that with upgrades in mind. So all of the kind of underlying queries that are run there, those aren't going to break during an update. And the CSS is kind of encapsulated in its own portion, so it's not touched by ServiceNow updates. So there might be a possibility where certain browsers start to phase out certain types of selectors and commands and things like that you would need to account for. But other than that, I feel pretty confident to say customize away and do what it is you want to do without worrying about negative repercussions down the road when you go to upgrade.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. So are you ready for questions? Because we have many. So the first one arrived when Abdullah, you were talking, you were having presentation, and Austin asks, why did you choose to have users look for a team or a team-specific service rather than a team-agnostic view of services?
Okay, I don't know if I quite understand the question. Can you repeat that, please?
So it says, why did you choose to have users look for a team or a team-specific service rather than a team-agnostic view of services?
Well, in Palo Alto, right, we have different organizations, different team have different services. So that's why we decide to get the requirement for all these different organizations and ask them what type of service we provide, and again we wanted to have a one shop from the service for the landing page where they can access all these different services through a search. So we didn't want end user to have to navigate to each different department portal to find what you want. So right now, the new generation, they just want quick stuff. They want to go to one place and search and find stuff. Hopefully, I answered the question.
Awesome. We'll see what he says. He will probably.
If not, the user can reach out to me offline. We can,
Nice.
So,
yeah, go ahead.
Can I jump in real quick if you don't mind? So we tried to do both, right? So in the bottom section that you see here that says select a department, that's broken down by department for people who may have been used to the old portal and just kind of knew where their stuff was and didn't want to necessarily have to mess with search, or for someone who was just really kind of aware of the structure and felt that they knew where to look based off of the department. And then we tried to mitigate that a little bit again with the search functionality that doesn't really care what business unit a certain thing is. If I just search in, direct deposit, there's no direct deposit catalog items, but the knowledge articles are there, and if there were catalog items, it would return them without having to necessarily navigate into payroll and then paychecks and direct deposit and so on and so forth. So we tried to blend both of those as best we could.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. So second question.
Yeah.
Kenner says, do you guys have service portal for end users and ITL users?
No. So pretty much service portal is for end user, but it doesn't say that ITL user cannot use it. They can use it, right? It's for everybody, but it's mainly for end user. Because we want to present the services. IT is a service organization. We want to present them with a nice interface, very easy to use. This portal didn't require any training, so that's how easy it is. We want to make it so easy for them that they can go there and just select the type of service they're looking for. So for IT has a any fulfiller license can go to the backend, right? I mean, you can just create incident in the backend in the internal form, or if you want, nothing stops our ITIL user or fulfiller to come to the portal and create some ticket in the behalf of the user.
Awesome.
We are working, just for what it's worth, we are working on a project for another client that does something where it's it's a service portal, but for the back end, specifically for IT users, for managing high priority incidents and things like that. So I would say that if you would like to learn more about that, it's definitely possible. And I or one of my team members would be more than happy to go over kind of the details on that.
Perfect. Thank you. Second question from Kenner is, do you use a different service catalog for each one of the departments? I mean, do you have a service catalog for IT services, another one for payroll, et cetera, et cetera?
Yes, so that's the route we plan to go. So IT have its service catalog, and then workplace resources also and payroll they have their own. So, but most of them right now, besides IT, they use just a record producer. But the plan is going forward, everybody have their own catalog item. So we have different categories for each department.
Awesome. Alex, anything to add?
No, I think you covered it completely, Abdullah.
Okay. So Joe asks, how long did the implementation take from doing the taxonomy to switching from CMS to service portal?
Well, that's a very good question. It took, I would say, probably from beginning to end, I would say about 3 to 4 months, if my memory serves me well, because we were a difficult client for Palo because we had a lot of requirements. We just didn't wanna. The service, like I said, ServiceNow portal was very limited. The new ServiceNow portal, and that didn't work for us. So, and then we didn't have all our requirements together. So, deciding on the look and feel, on even icon, and as you can see, you see the search. If you see the search, the search thing widget, we have around the border, we have a yellow, yellow coloring around it. So we have a lot of requirement, and so it took us a while to agree on some template or some wireframe that Palo provides. Palo did a lot of work in the design in the wireframe, presenting a different option, and we keep changing them. So no, we don't want this. Let's change this. And even when you type something with search the drop down to have this separate bucket for get help, knowledge, and also request. So I would say about 3 to 4 months total. Yeah.
Nice.
Alex, unless if you
So I guess, Jack, the question was, how many development hours is this take? I think this question has been answered. I don't know about hours specifically, if we remember that. We can tell.
Yeah, this will depend on every customer, right? Your requirement. Everybody requirement different, so that's something you can. I think they should probably work with you guys directly.
Yeah, a lot of hours on this one in particular for the design phase, but we've done some faster and we've done some that have taken longer. It kind of depends on, like Abdullah said, I mean, how firm you are in your requirements before you engage someone like us. Because if you know exactly what you want, then obviously it makes our job a little bit easier, and that we just have to build it. But we also do enjoy the opportunity to kind of help form those requirements as well, kind of leveraging the experience we have with some of the other things that we've built.
Awesome. So Randall asks, can you show the knowledge article page? I want to see how you tackled how the comments look. It looks like it is taken after a V2 field of articles, while V3 is what a lot of companies upgraded to with live feed comments.
Sure, let me pull up that page. And I do want to just quickly, here we go, yeah. So on the left-hand side, we dynamically pull in categories depending on if there are articles. So right now, only the IT and the payroll knowledge base are built out. But digging into comments here, basically, we can kind of adopt whatever look and feel that you like. You have complete control over the front end in Service Portal. So kind of going with more of a V2 feel here, pretty easily accomplished. If you wanted something totally different, also doable, because this is its own kind of standalone widget. You build out the input side of it, or the customer facing side, to look however you want it to look. And then we tie it to the back end and pass the values along. So we can kind of, build out any interface that you are looking to build, and then tie it back into the V3 knowledge base fields that are available there.
Yeah, exactly. And just to add to that, because since we have to deal with different departments, right, and so we have to get them ready to move it up to V3. So that's why we just keep it for now, keep it the way it is in V2. So still work in progress. We can, to move everything to V3.
Okay, thanks. So another question. Alex says, can you show how you build a search to show the 3 categorized columns?
Sort of. So it's spread out across quite a few different documents of code. So I'm not sure how in-depth we want to get here, but essentially what we're doing is, what's that?
No, I say maybe like you want to, because I have his email, maybe you want to talk to him offline, because it might take a while for this, right?
Yeah, I would say please contact me directly. You can find me on LinkedIn, or Julia, if we can post my email address or the close address in there, and we can get in contact, because I'm really excited about that, so I'd love to go into that in detail.
Yeah.
Long story short is we basically return the results in JSON, and then based on certain parameters, we split them into 3 different lists that rendered. But if you want to learn more about the nuts and bolts of how we did that, by all means, let's please schedule a time to talk.
Awesome. I just sent him my email.
And also quickly, on the back end, we did some work as well to change our categorization from 3 dependent field to 1 single field, reference field. So to be able to get this search to find the categorization.
Nice. Okay, so Austin asks, what was the level of engagement from executive leadership? Did they provide design feedback? Did you have any challenges with adoption because of the design?
That's a very good question. We definitely have our senior director. He was on this since day one, and so we have a great business support manager here, Nicole Kate also. So they work with different organizations to get the buy-in, through the beginning, the middle, and toward the end of the project. So we we just didn't do this and then say, hey, here you go. So we work with different organizations, like payroll, facilities, and to get the feedback since the beginning, since the requirement gathering phase. So it was a joint effort. So
awesome.
it turned out to be good.
That's great. So Dwayne asks, do you have an off catalog option for when people are looking to request something that doesn't have a catalog request yet?
Yes, so what we have is, I don't know if you want to show that, Alex. So we have under request, right? Request something. So not everything is a catalog. So we have a custom app called Service Request that we have. It's under Services. If you go to Services, go on Services and then Service Request, right? So pretty much this is pointed to a custom table, a custom app will allow the end user to select something that's not a incident. Like they want ask for a question, or they want training, or they want access to a group in Salesforce and stuff like that, right? That is not a catalog item. So they, so come here. But going forward is we trying to move away from this service request and move everything to item and do more automation.
And those show up over here again in my stuff. We kind of bundled them under the request header here. So here's that give me access one that I just made. And then from there you can kind of handle that like you would anything else, close it, add information on the side. Because I'm an admin, more of these fields are available than what the end user would have, but similar deal.
Awesome. So Arturo asks, there are Palo Alto's requirement in the service catalog, for example, some security request?
So for InfoSec stuff, right? So this is, we are using the security incident response application that ServiceNow came out with since, I think, Geneva. So InfoSec team is using that, but it's not open to end user yet. So they'll take the request, they'll open it in the behalf of the user internally in the backend and work it out. I think it's the user talking about some knowledge article are showing. So those are just libraries from, because Alex have a full admin, he was able to see those knowledge article. That's all.
Yeah. To add on to that, I would say if you were more talking about how are you locking down certain items, it's totally possible. So say a really common one would be like an employee onboarding request. So you wouldn't want everyone to be able to request to onboard an employee. You would want managers, or department heads, or things like that. And that's totally doable where it'll pull the role or group membership of the user and then dynamically show or hide any of the items that you see here to make sure that specific people can see specific things. So that a user shouldn't have to come to the page and filter through dozens of items that aren't relevant to them. We want to just kind of show, here are the things you have access to. Go ahead and click on what you need. So you won't really hit any pages on here where it'll say access denied, you can't view this form. It's more that we'll just hide them from the get-go, so you can't even get to those places. But it is dynamic. So certain users need something.
That's a good point, because there is an AirWatch item here, and before we went live, so we piloted that for IT user only. So the AirWatch catalog item used to show only for IT user when we are piloting that the AirWatch. So yeah, that was a great response, Alex. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. So Anil asked, were there any issues when you moved from self-service portal to the service portal? So from the old to the new, I guess.
No issue at all. There are two different applications. as far as the platform is concerned. So we just have to do a lot of work. Like, for example, we have to you have to be careful, like disable some of the items that you're not using anymore in the service portal that used to be available in the CMS. Like, for example, the search, right? The search, the way we have the search, we only pick up active item. And in the CMS, you can choose to not, since there is no search, right? You can go to a category, but you are not going to find the item sometime. But because the search is looking at everything, so you want to do the right filtering by picking up active stuff only. But beside that, and what we have done also is, since we're using two different URL, we did some redirection. So if end user goes to the old portal, it will get automatically directed to a new portal.
Awesome. Thank you. So he says thank you. So last question. Jack asks, have you done an upgrade to a new ServiceNow version since going live with the portal?
Yes. So we are on Istanbul right now. So the service portal went live on Helsinki, and then we upgrade to Istanbul, I think maybe a couple of weeks ago. So no real issues.
Awesome. Thanks. Another question. Katya asks, is it possible to have two different applications simultaneously? For instance, IT with CMS and other areas with Service Portal?
I wouldn't recommend it, but it's possible. As Abdullah mentioned, they're two separate applications, right? So they won't interfere with each other. However, in order to get the most out of the portal, we did have to kind of change some of the taxonomy on the back end. And so if your previous CMS portal has a different kind of structure in mind for how it's getting its data, and you change that, then you could break the CMS portal in the process of building out the service portal. Now, obviously, if you knew that was a design goal going in, then you could take steps to mitigate that. With Palo Alto, we kind of made the decision from the get-go that we were just going to drop the old CMS and go forward with service portal. But theoretically, it's possible. However, I would totally recommend going with the service portal going forward. It's way less fiddly as far as developing for. You can get a more beautiful result, and it's less likely to break in subsequent upgrades.
Exactly.
Back when.
Yeah. And you also want to be careful, because the CMS is not responsive, right? So you don't want to combine the two and have a link to the CMS where if the user is on a mobile, you'll see the CMS and the look and feel is all bad. So you want to be careful too. I'll say CMS is all technology, pretty much. So
yeah.
Service portal is a new way.
One case study I kind of want to throw out there with CMS and kind of upgrade compatibility is when ServiceNow launched UI 16, and I think that was in Helsinki. They included all these new CSS files, the Heisenberg CSS, and I don't know if this happened to anybody else, but there were a few projects we were working on where the changes to the CSS on the platform level actually broke things for the CMS. And so again, it's nice because with Service Portal, it's completely encapsulated. And to tie back into Abdullah's point, sending one group of users to a Service Portal and one group of users to a CMS really just kind of sets them up for an inconsistent experience, because there's going to be two different UIs. It's a little disjointed.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. So I don't see any other question. If you guys have other question, I'm gonna send you all through the chat again my email, so you all have it. closeinc.com. So in case you have additional question or you need more information, just send me an email and I will connect it to our technical people. Thank you so much, Abdullah. Thank you so much, Alex. That was amazing. Have a nice rest of the day. Thank you.
Thanks everyone for attending. And thank you, Abdullah.